Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher. Children, we are in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, isn't it? Because of that, we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean that we are going to stop learning. We are going to meet here regularly through the virtual training center to learn many lessons in EVS. So come on, let's go to a lesson in EVS. So children, let us continue the lesson that we were doing last time in standard 4th, EVS 2. So we were doing the lesson, that is lesson number 16 from your textbook, Campaign in the South. And in the first video that we saw, that is in the previous video that we saw how the coronation of Shivaji Maharaj was really short-lived. And why was it short-lived? It was short-lived because Ma Sahib, that is Jijabai, she passed away on the 17th of June 1674. And Shivaji Maharaj was very, very dependent on Jijau or Jijabai for everything. Not only emotionally, but also for his entire life, and whatever he did, he used to take guidance and advice from his mother. So she was like a guru, she was like a guide in his life. And because of all this, he was very grieved, but he had no time for sorrow. Why? Because he had to administer the kingdom which he had established. And we also saw how he decided to attack Karnataka. Okay, so now in today's lesson, children, let us start by understanding what happened after Shivaji decided to attack Karnataka, that is Shivaji decided to expand his kingdom southwards, how he went to visit Golconda we saw last time, and we also saw that Qutub Shah, he extended a very, very warm welcome to Shivaji Maharaj. He did not leave any, you can say, stone unturned to extend a warm welcome to Shivaji Maharaj and make him feel very, very comfortable. Okay, and after this, we will see how this campaign was carried forward by Shivaji Maharaj. So this is the second part of this particular video, that is Campaign in the South. So in this particular part of the video, we are going to talk about conquest of Jinji. We will talk about meeting that Shivaji Maharaj had with Vyankoji Raje, his stepbrother. And we will also see towards the end of the video a very, very sad thing that happened. Okay, so come on, let us start with the part where Shivaji Maharaj undertakes to conquer Jinji. And then let us see whether he was successful in it. Okay, so before that, let's go back a little bit and see how Shivaji Maharaj realized that the real threat to Swaraj was from the north. That is, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb was biding his time to destroy the Maratha kingdom. He had understood all this. That is the reason he decided that he should expand towards the south to make his kingdom stronger. Then we also saw that Shivaji realized that there was no knowing when Aurangzeb would attack and swallow the new kingdom. That is why the campaign to the south was undertaken. Isn't it? That is the main reason why Shivaji Maharaj felt that now he should move towards the south. Alright, and he approached Qutub Shah also for help. So now we will see that when Shivaji Maharaj thought that this campaign would create a powerful base in the south, from where he could resist the blows of the Mughals, that is the time he decided to undertake this particular campaign. And then we also saw how he visited Golconda, how he took help from Qutub Shah, etc. So moving on and coming to the main point in today's lesson, that is, we will see how he conquered Jinji. So the Jinji is a fort. Alright, so today we will learn about the conquest of Jinji first in this particular video. So taking leave of Qutub Shah from Golconda, Shivaji proceeded south. And he reached the east coast of India. So you can see on the east coast, we have Chennai, which is today the capital of Tamil Nadu. So he left from Golconda. He said goodbye to his good friend, the Qutub Shah, and he started moving towards the south. Now, to the south of Chennai is the fort of Jinji. Alright, and now this Fort Jinji was particularly very important to Shivaji Maharaj. He considered it as a very important fort. Why? Because Shivaji used to look at places which were of strategic importance, which were of importance in order to use his military powers. He used to take a look and try to find out which were the strong forts that he could capture. Okay, so in that way he identified the fort of Jinji, and let's see, this is the fort. It is a big fort, as big and as strong as Raigad. Alright, see, this fort is the fort of Jinji, and here you will see the fort of Raigad. So I've tried to show you a picture where we are comparing both the forts. So you can see Jinji is also a very big fort, as big as Raigad is. And that is why Shivaji set his sights on capturing the fort of Jinji. Now what did Shivaji do? Was he able to capture it very easily? It is not very easy to capture any fort, okay? So Shivaji besieged and captured it. Besieged means he laid siege to the fort. Now in the earlier lessons we have discussed what the meaning of laying siege is. Laying siege to a particular fort means to surround the fort from all sides. Now when you surround a fort from all sides, what do? You actually stop people from leaving the fort as well as entering the fort. Now as you can see this particular fort is on top of a mountain. There is no way that these people can do farming and grow their own crops and vegetables. So they need to get all this down from the plains. Now when someone lays siege to this kind of a place, what happens? Very soon the ration and water and everything gets over and they have to surrender. So that is what Shivaji did. He besieged, that is he lay siege to the fort of Jinji and he captured it. Thus you will see that a strong southern base was created for Swaraj. So the fort of Jinji became like a base for Swaraj. Then what did he do? Did he stop? Did he rest? No, he moved on. He besieged the Vellore fort. Can you see the fort of Vellore here? He besieged that fort also. Now the siege in this particular fort, the siege to this particular fort lasted for several months. But the fort could not be conquered. See, they could conquer the fort of Jinji very easily, even though it was a very big fort. But look at this particular fort. It is not as big as the fort of Jinji, but it was protected better. Okay, so they had to wait for several months before Shivaji could conquer his fort, this particular fort. And not only laying siege, Shivaji had to, he had to employ other techniques also. For example, what did he have to do? Shivaji had to train his guns on the fort from a neighboring hill before he could conquer it. So he had to actually break down the enemy before he could conquer this particular fort. So his southern campaign, finally he was able to capture the fort. Okay, the fort of Jinji came under the control of Swaraj. Alright, now his southern campaign brought under his rule several forts and territories with an annual revenue of 20 lakhs. Now we are talking about 300 years ago. 20 lakhs is a huge amount today also. So imagine 20 lakhs was such a huge, enormous amount of money at those times. And when Shivaji Maharaj undertook the southern campaign, it brought under his rule many forts also and also places which started giving him income. And what did he use this income for? Did he use it to buy more houses for himself or to buy jewelry? No, he used it to strengthen his army. Okay, to make his army stronger, to make his Swaraj stronger, to protect his Swaraj. So this is how the campaign to the south was in a way very successful. It brought about many forts also under the control of Shivaji Maharaj, and it also brought him a lot of income or earnings. Okay, now let us see that Shivaji Maharaj, he decided to think more positively, and he decided to invite his brother Vyankoji Raje, who was his step brother. So let us now see the story when Shivaji met with Vyankoji Raje. So let's talk about Shivaji's meeting with Vyankoji Raje. So Shivaji Maharaj invited Vyankoji Raje, his step brother, to meet him. So you can see Shivaji Maharaj talking to Vyankoji Raje. Now the relations between Shivaji Maharaj and Vyankoji Raje were not very good. Okay, they were not the best of relations. There was a lot of, you can say, bitterness in this relationship between the two brothers. Now Vyankoji Raje reluctantly agreed. Reluctantly agree means he was not very happy, okay, to meet Shivaji Maharaj. But he said, no, now my brother is asking me that come and meet me. How can I say no? So he reluctantly agreed to meet Shivaji Maharaj. Now Shivaji received him with great honor and tried to win him over. So he tried to talk to him. He tried to make him happy, and he gave him a lot of respect also when he invited him. And what did he say to him? He said, help me with the work of Swaraj. He appealed to Vyankoji Raje to help him in the work of Swaraj. Now, this was one brother seeking help from another brother. For what? Not for his personal gain, but for the sake of the people of the state. Okay. Now, Vyankoji Raje, he had reluctantly come to meet Shivaji Maharaj, isn't it? He was not happy. He was not very happy about helping also. He did not want to help Shivaji Maharaj with the work of Swaraj or whatever. So what did he do? He stayed with Shivaji Maharaj, but for a few days only. Alright. And one fine day, what did he do? He returned to Tanjavur. Now, Tanjavur is also a place in Tamil Nadu. He returned to Tanjavur without even taking the leave of Shivaji Maharaj. So without Shivaji Maharaj's knowledge, he quietly left from there and he went back to Tanjavur. Now not only that, Shivaji Maharaj was his brother. He should have told him that, see, I cannot stay with you any longer. I am going back. He did not do that. He did not tell him. Not only that, he also went on and attacked Shivaji's forces. So you can see how one brother is trying to cause harm to the other one. Alright, so from Tanjavur, he actually attacked Shivaji's forces. Now what do you think must have happened? Shivaji Maharaj would have let it go? He would not have let it go. He also had very, very strong army with him, very, very strong men fighting for him. Now, Shivaji's forces took a heavy toll of the attacking troops and Vyankoji Raje was defeated. But Shivaji was deeply pained. Why do you think Shivaji was pained? Now, Shivaji's forces fought bravely with the troops of Vyankoji Raje, but Vyankoji Raje was defeated. Why was Shivaji sad? Shivaji was sad that we are wasting our time, we are wasting our energy, we are wasting our men on fighting each other. We should actually join hands and we should fight the common enemy. But instead of that, what are we doing? We are fighting each other. So Shivaji Maharaj was deeply pained. What did he do? He still did not stop. He again wrote to him and tried to persuade him to change his ways. Because he was after all his brother. Okay, so in spite of all the mistakes that he was committing, Shivaji Maharaj was still ready to forgive him. And he told him, he wrote him a letter and he said, come back to me and join hands with me even now. So see, I am ready to forgive you after all the harm that you have done to me. So even after all this, Shivaji Maharaj still persuaded him to change his ways. Why? Not for any personal gain, but so that both the brothers could together join hands and fight for the betterment of the people. Alright, what did he do? He went one step ahead. He went out of the way and he conferred on him the territory which was south of Chenji. So he made him, you can say Sardar, or he gave him a particular place or a particular territory. He conferred it to him, that is, he gave it to him as a gift. Not only to him, but also he decided to set a small part of Karnataka as a gift for Deepa Bai. Who was Deepa Bai? Deepa Bai was Vyankoji's wife. So in one way or the other, somehow or the other, he wanted his brother to come back to him. Okay, he also wrote a letter to Vyankoji. He said, do not put your trust in your enemies. Follow the path of valor. He said, do not trust the people who are working to harm you, but follow the path of valor. Be brave and stand up for yourself and your people. Okay, so in spite of all the harm that his brother did to him, in spite of the cheating that his brother did with him, he still forgave him and he still conferred him with so many territories and places as gifts. And thus, the campaign to the south was a success and it concluded. So, after the conclusion of the successful campaign of Karnataka, Shivaji returned to Raigad. Shivaji came back to Raigad because the campaign in the south of Karnataka, that is the campaign of Karnataka, was a rather successful one. And Shivaji Maharaj came back to Raigad. While he was yet to overcome the strain of this campaign, he had to undertake a naval campaign against the Siddhi of Janjira. So you can see here, Shivaji Maharaj is tired now after the campaign to the south and he has just come back to Raigad, but then he starts realizing that no, he cannot rest even now because Siddhi Johar of Janjira is causing trouble for Swaraj, and therefore he again had to, you can say, undertake a naval campaign against the Siddhi of Janjira. At this time, Maharaj was 50 years old. He had toiled continuously for nearly 35 years without any time to rest. So you can see he was always working for Swaraj, whether he was discussing, whether he was bargaining with other kings, whether he was fighting with his enemies and with the Mughals, or whether he was part of some campaign. He was toiling continuously, that is, he was working non-stop without any time for rest. Okay, so all this took a toll on his health, you can say, and one fine day, suddenly the people's protector was no more. That is, Shivaji Maharaj passed away. I told you in the beginning of the video that we are going to see something which is sad which has happened towards the end of the video. And what was the sad thing which happened? The people's protector, that is the protector of Swaraj, passed away. He is no more. And when did this happen? On the 3rd April 1680, Shivaji Maharaj died, plunging his people into a sea of sorrow. So there was like a huge sea of sorrow, and his subjects, his people, were plunged into it. That is, they were not able to come out of that sea of sorrow. He died at a very, very young age, you can say. Okay, and in his entire lifetime, he had done so much for the people. He was the protector of the people. But sadly today, he had passed away. That is on the 3rd of April, 1680, he had passed away. And in his lifetime, Maharaj achieved so many great things. What all things had he done? He vanquished very powerful enemies and founded the Hindvi Swaraj. Many powerful enemies like Afzal Khan, like Aurangzeb, and so many other people he had vanquished. Vanquished means he had defeated. And he had founded the Hindvi Swaraj. There was none in the whole of India who could match his achievements. So see, he had toiled hard in order to achieve this Swaraj. And there was no one in the entire part of India, in the entire, you can say, subcontinent of India, who could match his achievements. You can see all the orange parts were all the rule of Shivaji Maharaj or the rule of Swaraj. Okay, so there was no one who could match his achievements. He was a great national figure. Now we will take a look at the tomb or the Samadhi of Shivaji Maharaj, which is at Raigad. Okay, it is the final resting place of Shivaji Maharaj. We know that Raigad was also the capital of Swaraj, and it also became the final resting place of Shivaji Maharaj, who was a great national hero. He was a national figure. Okay, so after this campaign to the south, very soon you will see that Shivaji Maharaj also breathed his last. Now, in the lessons which are going to come, we have a few more lessons in the textbook. We will look at many other aspects also of Shivaji Maharaj's life. We will look at the navy that he built. We will look at the kind of administration that he undertook in order to see that the people were happy. And we will also see why he was called as a people's king. But that will be in the lessons to come. So children, please watch the entire video. So both these videos together, you get an idea of what the campaign to the south was. So watch the entire video and also see to it that you do the tasks which I have set for you. So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, and after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now, what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So, what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions. And note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learnt a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.